Ladies and gentlemen, I was recently watching a wonderful interview with Steve Wozniak, who was, of course, one of the famous two Steves who created that monolith that is today's amazing company, Apple. One of the questions that Steve Wozniak was asked was, what was the formula? What do you think was the factor X in your initial success? And he said this, he said, the fact is that Steve and I both chose to be at the center of the action. You know, we weren't based in Phnom Penh or London or Budapest. We were based in San Francisco at the center of the microprocessor revolution. And I think that something that my colleague Jason had in mind when he so cleverly put together today's event was that we have to speak to the people at the center of the action. And it's a great pleasure to welcome here somebody as our platinum keynote who is indeed very much at the center of the action. Please, a huge round of applause for Majd Fayyad, the DSM Strategy and Policy Lead for the Dubai Supreme Council of Energy. No one better to start our day. Huge round of applause.
I think Paul has made it very difficult for everyone who's going to stand on this stage to thank you for the inspirational stories. So today, my presentation today will focus on the role of energy efficiency in advancing net zero, Dubai's approach to energy efficiency, and the demand-side management strategy. Few words about the Dubai Supreme Council of Energy. The Dubai Supreme Council of Energy is the council tasked with policy and strategy development of the energy sector in Dubai. And this includes energy supply, emissions, and demand. Alongside with our member entities, which you can see here, we work closely with them to plan, execute several strategies, including the Dubai Clean Energy Strategy, the Dubai Integrated Energy Strategy, and many others. In recent years, we've seen a rise in the global trend towards net zero. Around 140 countries, accounting for 90% of the global emissions, have either set targets or proposed targets to net zero. UAE is one of them. And UAE has defined a pathway to achieving net zero with emission targets by 2030, 2040, and 2050. Despite this global effort, scientists are still warning about the climate crisis. In fact, the latest report by the IPCC issues the final warning on the climate crisis, and this is just in March this year. So it is very clear that we need to achieve net zero as soon as possible. The good news here is that achieving net zero would not translate into economic contraction. On the contrary, net zero offers several economic opportunities in terms of job creation and GDP growth. But to realize this potential, we need collaboration and we need the participation of all stakeholders. Everyone would play a role in achieving net zero. And collaboration between the private and the public sector is key to achieving net zero. The private sector offering steer, monitoring, control, while the public sector offering steer control, while the private sector offering human resources, innovations, technologies, and funding. In Dubai, we walk the talk. And we have took decisive actions towards net zero. Aligning with the UAE's net zero pledge, Dubai, through the resolution number 6 of the Dubai Supreme Council of Energy, aims to achieve net zero by 2050 on the level of the Emirates. And this includes achieving 100% clean energy sources by 2050. To achieve that, we need to decarbonize all sectors. And this includes the most emitting sectors, such as power and water, waste, transport, and manufacturing. To achieve net zero, as I mentioned, we need to decarbonize all of these sectors. On the power and the water side, we need to capitalize on the solar potential, photovoltaics, CSPs, also on storage as well, reverse osmosis for water. Also in the future, by 2030, 2035, green and blue hydrogen. On the transport sector, solutions are clear, promoting and shifting to public transport, metros, trams, electric public transport, as well as increasing the efficiency of vehicles and promoting the use of electric and hybrid vehicles. On buildings, solution is very clear, net zero energy and net zero carbon buildings, with a special focus on existing buildings, the existing building stock, and how to make the existing building stock more efficient and reduce its energy consumption, with a focus on cooling. Why cooling? Cooling contributes to 70% of our electricity consumption in buildings during summer. So particular focus on cooling and innovations in cooling is critical to achieving net zero. Also, going beyond operational emissions from the building sector, we need to focus on embodied emissions and how to reduce the emissions from building materials and construction processes, and going beyond operational emissions to life cycle emissions of buildings. The good news here, I'm not sure if you can see it, but I almost cannot read anything, so I'm too close to the screen. But this graph shows the different solutions across different industries. And it shows the blue bars represent the cost-effective ones. So the good news here is that these solutions exist and are cost-effective across several sectors: energy, buildings, and transport. Energy efficiency will play a significant role in achieving net zero. In fact, rapid and strong focus on energy efficiency provides 40% of the carbon abatement by 2040. We can also double the rate of energy efficiency by only implementing the existing technologies and the existing cost-effective technologies. So we have an opportunity with us now. Focusing on energy efficiency can provide 40% of our emissions reduction, and then advancement in technologies, green hydrogen and other technologies will play the other part. Focusing on energy efficiency across sectors, starting from the building sector, in order to achieve net zero buildings, we need to reduce our energy consumption through energy conservation and energy efficiency, reducing it by 30 to 50% of energy use intensity in buildings that's required. On industry side as well, most of the focus in industries is on fuel substitution, on green hydrogen and other aspects. However, energy efficiency provides 25 to 30% reduction in emissions in aluminum, paper, and cement manufacturing. Also on the transport side, there are many solutions, including to reduce the fuel demand at first before switching to electric and hybrid vehicles. And this includes controlling speed limits, vehicle maintenance, and many others. In Dubai, we consider energy efficiency as an essential tool to achieving net zero. Dubai has a strong framework, strategic and policy framework, for resource sustainability in Dubai. And we have several strategies, as you can see here. On the supply side, our main target is to increase the solar penetration from 15% currently to 25% by 2030, increasing the clean energy sources to 100% by 2050. On the carbon side, reduction of 30% of our emissions by 2030, achieving net zero by 2050. On the demand side, our main target currently is to reduce 30% of our energy and water consumption by 2030, with a focus on water consumption. And here, what I mean in integrated water strategy, our main focus is to reduce is to increase 55% of our recycled water use and reduce our desalinated water use by 1/3 by 2030. On the demand-side management side, we have an active strategy for over 10 years with 11 programs, different program owners, as you can see, different facilitators, with a complete structure that help govern and implement the demand-side management strategy. So starting with a focus on buildings through building regulation and compliance, thus positioning Dubai to transition to net zero energy and net zero carbon buildings in the future. Focus on building retrofits through the ESCO market and the ESCO accreditation. Our main target here is to retrofit 30,000 buildings by 2030. Also promoting the use of efficient outdoor lighting, promoting efficient cooling, increasing the penetration of district cooling, and increasing the efficiency as well of district cooling. And many other programs, so including a promotion of home appliances and industry appliances with higher standards, promoting efficient and responsible consumer behavior, promoting building-level photovoltaics, as well as increasing the penetration of hybrid and electric vehicles. As I mentioned, the DSM has been active for more than 10 years. We have been saving a lot of energy and water based on the implementation. On the energy side, we've saved since 2011, 32 terawatt hours of energy and 52 billion imperial gallons of water. And this results in 9 billion dirhams of savings on monetary savings, including operational savings and capital savings. Another very important achievement of implementation of demand-side management programs is the reduction of energy and water use per capita figures in Dubai. We've seen since 2010 that the figures has dropped by 17 to 20 and 21%, both on energy and water. On the mobility side, Dubai Supreme Council of Energy launched the Green Mobility Initiative years ago with an objective of reducing the carbon emissions from the transport sector and promoting the use of electric and hybrid vehicles. The model used here is we mandated a target across government entities in terms of the government vehicle procurement. Currently, we are at 10% target for government vehicles to be hybrid or electric, to be increased to 20% by 2025 and 30% beyond. And here are the results. As you can see, we have more than 31,000 vehicles in Dubai that are green, including hybrid and electric. We have 54% of these vehicles are electric, which is great. We have the number of electric vehicles currently, this year and last year actually, have surpassed the number of hybrid. And you can see that the blue bars represent the number of electric vehicles. And you can see that there's an exponential growth in the number of electric vehicles. On the government procurement side, you can see that we've definitely surpassed the target of 10% to 15%, 14% this year. I think my main point in this presentation is to highlight that energy efficiency will play a significant role in achieving net zero. And we need to implement and accelerate energy efficiency levels across different industries: buildings, infrastructure, transport, and manufacturing. And we need to do that now because the solutions exist, are cost-effective. But more importantly, in order to accelerate the rate of energy efficiency, government cannot do it alone. We need the participation of the private sector. We need collaboration with the private sector across different programs. And I think this collaboration will be key to achieving our energy efficiency targets as well as the net zero targets. Thank you. Do we have any questions? Or?
Thank you. Hi, I'm Jean-Philippe from EV Merch. I wanted to ask you, so I realize you mainly look after Dubai, but is there consultation or on the federal level, especially when you mentioned the push for EV adoption, is there a consultation with other Emirates when it comes to creating federal level, United Arab Emirates broad legislation when it comes to private sector playing a role in the EV charger infrastructure and basically monetization? And I mean, I'm sure you understand where I'm coming from.
Yeah, in terms of federal legislation and strategies, there are definitely several federal strategies. So on the demand-side management side, which includes the transport, you have the federal demand-side management strategy, which Dubai aligns with that strategy in terms of targets. In terms of infrastructure, this is dealt on the emirate level rather than on the federal level.
Hi, Nikhil from Intertech. Just one question is, all of what you showed has a lot of data from a lot of, organizations within the government. How is that managed? Who's responsible for today, as part of that implementation, getting that data to the Supreme Council? Yes.
So we have a very active system and created a structure. The governance structure is very clear. We have for each program owner and program supporters from both government and private sector. And we have a system of collecting data and information across different stakeholders. We have a project management office that collects that data and issues the reports. The annual reports are available on our website, so all of these results are online.
Thank you so much. My name is Ahmed Al-Najjar from Al-Ain Distribution Company. Thanks, Majd, for the great presentation. I'd just like to add a point on the role of the federal government. I think this point has been raised on their efforts to look into an integrated strategy across the whole country level. And I could say that all of the involved stakeholders from the different Emirates, starting from Dubai Supreme Council of Energy, Department of Energy of Abu Dhabi, Ittihad Energy and Services, and all of the Emirates are working together in a special task force where they look into how to walk the talk towards the UAE's net zero strategy towards 2050, and that includes taking real steps towards promoting several programs. Among those is promoting the EV chargers as well. Thanks.
Okay. And the lady just here, please. It's okay, we'll pass it. Thank you so much indeed, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the very informative presentation. My name is Beatrix, and I'm from a company that we are building from industrial hemp. Hence, my question relates to the natural materials that you mentioned, that there is a plan by 2050 to provide a supply mix from pure materials. Is there a consideration, either at an emirate level or federal level, to explore other materials than cement and bricks that are more environmentally friendly and more sustainable?
So I'm not the right person to answer that question. This is under the scope of Dubai municipality, and they have better answer to that. But from the Dubai Supreme Council of Energy perspective, we take care of the high-level policy and strategy development and implementation. And what we have been focusing on during the last couple of years is circular economy, and through our circular economy committee, where we bring together both private and public sector entities to discuss, one of them on the construction sector and the building materials, what are solutions to reduce the embodied carbon or the emissions, or how to be able to use more circular products. So this has been is being discussed currently under the Circular Economy Committee, but definitely the answer for that with Dubai Municipality.
Thank you so much. And as you mentioned, this is where it starts with a dialogue between the public and private sector. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, everyone. Please, huge round of applause for Majd. Thank you.